And welcome back to Coast. We're with Mitch Battress, and we're going to take your phone calls. But first, Mitch, wasn't it methane that killed off dinosaurs many millions of years ago?
Well, that's right. And I don't know, I guess you could make some association of you know, at least that theory of fossil fuel. However, I believe, as you do, I think oil is constantly being made. So I don't see really any connection in that way. Not that I'm aware of, although, you know, you never know in this situation. I do want to, I thought of an analogy while we were on break, that especially for your listeners, since we're on radio, it gives a good picture. If you've ever siphoned gas out of a car, gas doesn't just fly out the gas tank, as we all know. But if you put a hose down and you give it a good suck 2 or 3 times through the hose, then it comes pouring out. Well, that's probably a better
That's a good
visual
point, yes.
Yeah. So that, in part, is what has happened. So we have this 6-mile reservoir of oil. Now, if it was just the oil alone, it might be a different scenario. But since the methane is involved, that is probably what is making it more of a...
Good point. And by the way, kids, don't do this at home. You get a mouthful of gasoline and you'll be in deep trouble.
That's true.
Let's take a few phone calls, and I want to talk a little bit more about this methane with you, Mitch, and just how serious you think it is. We'll go to Ferguson, Missouri. Jeff's with us on Coast to Coast. Oh, long-time listener. Go ahead, Jeff.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Good.
One quick, I was thinking about your analogy real quick before my comment. Wouldn't a balloon filled with water be better, squeezing the balloon and the water coming out?
That would equalize the pressure somewhat, I would think.
But anyway, I was wondering if that would be a better analogy. But the question I have is, if this continues and they do have to uncap it, how more likely would an evacuation have to be, especially if it's a methane? And how far can they go back? And second, I had friends in Louisiana call me and tell me they've seen FEMA people scouting lots.
Just in case.
Scouting what? Scouting what?
Empty lots.
Empty lots.
Yes. Actually, I can speak to this with authority. I am with FEMA. And yes, there already have been trials, and there have been practice of such a thing. It is definitely not off the table of an evacuation. And so you're right. And I was in Louisiana myself not too long ago. I didn't get to run into any FEMA colleagues or Red Cross, but yes, these are real scenarios. Now, I don't want to go so far as the prison encampments and all that stuff. No, this is really a very serious precaution, and they're utilizing what they learned from Katrina, where they did a lot of wrong things. And sure, they're mobilizing for a just-in-case scenario. Don't be surprised if you see the National Guard mobilized as well.
Would there be a telltale sign, Mitch? Let's say the ships, all the ships that are around now, skimming and working, if they're all told to get out of here, get out fast. That would be a sign, right? That
would be a sign, and we probably wouldn't hear that. They want to be very, very cautious and very methodical when they do such an evacuation. The top of the rule of FEMA is to not create or contribute to panic. Exactly. So the best scenario is to have an orderly, and the sooner the better. So you kind of behind the lines, or you're fighting with the mayors and all the political to-dos and how's it going to affect my summertime tourism. Well, I think that's kind of taken off the map already. Tourism in particular. Go back to the old movie of Jaws. Now, remember when the Jaws that they were threatening that this 20-foot great white shark was there, but the townspeople fought against announcing that there was danger.
They didn't want to kill tourism.
They didn't want to kill the tourism, and that those kinds of scenarios are real, and FEMA's aware of that. So yes, the telltale signs would be the ships would be certainly getting out of the way, and you would see the mobilizing of FEMA, Red Cross, Search and Rescue, all the teams. But they would probably start to make the announcements, pretty quickly.
We have called this since it began in April, and I wish we were wrong, but we've been right on just about every point. Is this a planet killer?
I don't think so. I have not heard that from anyone, and I've really delved into all my sources. By the way, I do want to highlight that. But I don't like, George, I personally don't like having to come forward and saying, well, my source is close to the situation. I don't like that. And I don't like it when others do it. I want first names, last names. I want to, let's take this cloak and dagger. But I can't get any of my sources to do it.
Nobody wants to go on the record.
Well, it's not just that. Everybody has a touchy trigger finger, and there are lawsuits about ready to blow everywhere. Your person that was on earlier about the hearing that was called today, and they pled the fifth is what they did through the advice of their attorneys. And that's what's happening. No one wants to be. Matter of fact, John Kessler, they tried to hire John Kessler from Texas A&M.
He's not talking anymore.
No, he can't. He can't talk because when they talked about the stipulation, they wanted to give him $250 an hour.
By the way, he's the one that I just quoted as saying that methane is 1,000,000 times higher than normal in some areas, and there's a cap on him.
That's right. And so that's what's happening, and I can't get anybody to come forward with their names. All I can tell you is that from day one, actually it was day 2, I had sources close to the situation. These are petro specialists, and as soon as they had access to the video. As soon as they saw the videos, they knew immediately this thing is never going to stop until relief wells are dug. And even then, it's a 50-50 chance in August. In other words, I think people have the idea that they have this incredible accuracy, and then as soon as that first and second relief well, it's going to hit and everything's going to be fine. It's not going to happen that way. If it did, it'd be like the meteorites hitting that guy's roof in Bosnia.
Yeah.
It's just not practical. So it's very possible that this could go on into December, and I predicted early 2011.
In theory, if this leak is never stopped, this whatever it is, I don't want to call it a spill. It's not really a spill. If it's never stopped, how long is oil going to continue to gush out of that thing? Years, 10 years, 30 years, 100 years? How long?
Good question. I don't have the answer. And matter of fact, no one has the answer. That's another lawsuit that's going on. And matter of fact, that's why BP wants to cap this thing, not only to have to pay that they're paying for every day that it's flowing, but they don't want anybody to know how much is already leaked out. They don't want anybody to know how much is in there. I'm not sure they know how much is in there, but I can't find anybody who can tell me, any sort of measurement of what's in this 6-mile reservoir.
All right, let's go to Louisiana and Kenner, Louisiana.